Hello Frances Holland and welcome to my studio today, and thank you for joining me where we're going to create some flower fairies. My name is Jodie Glen-Martin and I'm an artist and also mother to Araminta Hildreth of Frances Holland in Year 3 and Millie Hildreth in Year 9 who's behind the camera today. So I've decided to create some illustrations for you of young girls that we're going to make into flower fairies. So I got my paper and pencil out and I started sketching, and I've got the sketches here in front of me which I'd like you to see. They're a bit rough, you can see the pencil marks, you can see the rubbings out, you can see where I changed, but when you're sketching it's quite good fun because it's a bit like taking a pencil for a walk and you can do anything you like with it. Now the girls might look slightly familiar, and this is because I started off in my head, in my imagination, I was going to draw some simple drawings of cute, sweet little girls that I could convert into flower fairies, but they kept coming out a little bit more stronger and powerful and opinionated, hands on hips, than I planned. And then I realised this was probably because I was thinking about Frances Holland girls the whole time that I was drawing them. So I just went with the flow and I let my pencil do what it wanted to do, and I've put them into the Frances Holland school uniform. So these are my sketches which I started doing with a pencil, and once I'd got the lines that I wanted and the outline that I wanted, I then did some much simpler pen and ink sketches that we're going to start with today. And I'm going to pick this young lady first, who I think is probably maybe reception year 1, year 2 age. And now what I did next was I went round my London garden and I found lots of plants, flowers and weeds and anything that I thought looked interesting. I even got some basil out of the kitchen that might be interesting for our project today. Please do check with an adult first before you cut any flowers, just in case you get me into trouble. And I found some fun things. Like I said, I've got the basil from the supermarket basil. I've got various leaves. Talking of weeds, these were great. Now, they're a bit of a sort of hairy, spiky plant, but they have these tiny, tiny little flowers which we can move, which are going to make excellent little details for our project today. We've got some lovely jasmine, which smells delicious. It's the best time of year at the moment, girls, for doing an art project like this. I've got some thyme. I've got some fern. I'm not even sure what this is, but it's so pretty. I allowed myself to pull one tulip apart from my floral display in the kitchen, but I've even kept the little stamens because I think they're going to make a lovely little tiara or crown. I also allowed myself to pick one rose from my favourite rose bush, but look at the amount of leaves we've got there, girls. So many, there's so much potential there. One of my favourite things, and actually I think what we will start with today, these ferns. Now we've got loads of these in our garden. They sort of grow semi-wild. I hope you can find some of these too. And if you turn, they're beautiful shapes as they are, but if you turn them around, they've got these little spores along the lines of each frond, and these are like little spots, and I think they're quite brilliant. Now, if it's difficult for you to get hold of foliage at the moment, then maybe I can suggest that you print out some pictures of flowers from the internet, or you might have some old seed packets at home, or pictures of flowers from magazines. You could even use pieces of material with floral prints on. And what we're going to do is just take apart some of these plants, and then we're simply going to start playing. Now, as I was saying, I think these fern leaves are absolutely inspiring and a great place to start. So I'm just going to simply place them on our Frances Holland girl, and we're going to turn her into a flower fairy. Now these fronds, as you can see, are actually quite long on her, so it looks like she's going to end up wearing some sort of glamorous ball gown, which is quite fun. You can really let the plants lead you for this exercise. Look at what you're going to create. I think that's quite lovely already. I'm quite pleased with that actually. Just put them together a little bit more so she's got a bit of a waist. Let's try and cover up her, actually let's leave her shoes peeking through, because what we can do maybe is get some of these buttercup petals and make her shoes golden. That's quite fun. Lovely, I like that. Now let's have a think about her top. Let's have a think. Now what about these tulip petals? These are lovely. And if you look closely, can you see that there's a yellow top, which is really pretty. Perhaps we can make that a detail in her dress. So what about simply placing those there? Like a little sleeveless top she could be wearing. Or actually, I think we've got 6 petals, so what perhaps we could do, give her a waist. Let's use 2 more and she could have sleeves. That's quite fun. Now, what should we do next? I know, this lovely plant here. What if we took some of these little tiny flowers and we could give her a collar on her tulip top? That's quite pretty. Those are lovely. Maybe we could put some of those and make her a little crown as well. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. What do you think, Millie? Like it? Yeah. I know. Let's go back to those little tiny blue petals that we had. Maybe we put one. The blue and the yellow is lovely. So we could give her little golden shoes. She can have a little flower detail. Now that's quite pleased. I'm quite pleased with that. Perhaps we could give her, I know, one last thing. A little tiny blue flower. She could have blue flower earrings. How lovely is that? Right, let's take a photo. Quite pleased with that one. And then we can start again. So let's move on to another girl and just quickly show you another example here. I know, let's start with some of these rather lovely hydrangea leaves, and we're going to give her wings. So I'm just going to tear one of the ends off these, which that's quite a big, actually maybe let's make, in fact I'm going to use scissors for this. There, that's good, I like that. So she can fly away. Yeah, I like that. And then why don't we use this lovely rose that I was talking about earlier? What we could do is we could start off low down and build up. Oh, this rose smells so good. Build up layers of her skirt. She can have like a puffball skirt, that would be nice. Layers. And girls, the possibilities are endless. You can spend hours playing on this, but what I'd like you to do, when you get a design that you're happy with, could you take a photo please and upload it to the virtual Frances Holland virtual gallery. The link is on the worksheet, and then we can all enjoy looking at each other's designs. And another thing you can do, an optional task, is if any of you have a flower press or even some heavy books, you could put some tissue, layers of tissue paper or a piece of paper on top of your design, and then you could press it in the books and dry them out, flatten them, and then you'll have a ready-made artwork at the end of it. It'd be really pretty, it'd look lovely in a frame. There. I'd wear this skirt. How about that? Maybe we'll give her a crown. That one's perfect for a crown. There we are. There we are, girls. This is what we're going to be doing today. So have fun. You've got my illustrations to download and print, or you can draw your own fairies. And I really look forward to seeing the results. And thank you for joining me in my studio today.